Welcome. I'm Paul Mitchell, Professor of Agriculture and Applied Economics at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and Extension State Specialist in Cropping Systems Management. In this short video, I'm going to give you my ARC and PLC sign-up recommendations for 2025 for Wisconsin farmers. What I'm going to cover are recommendations for corn, soybeans, wheat, and oats, and in a separate shorter video will be SCO and ECO and the ARC PLC decision, and then the last one will be my recommendations for minor crops here in the state of Wisconsin. I'm not going to cover how PLC and ARC work. I'm not going to discuss the types of farmers that may find ARC IC a useful option. So this year, the sign-up deadline for ARC for the 2025 crop year is April 15th. That is a month later than it typically has been. What farmers are going to do is choose PLC, County ARC, or ARC IC for their base acres. We'll focus on PLC and ARC CO or just ARC in this video. You can mix and match across farms and crops. You can use PLC for your corn base and your ARC CO for your soybean base if you want. You can use PLC for corn on one of your FSA farms and ARC CO for another on another farm for your corn acres there. The sign-up is only for the 2025 crop, the one you will be planting soon. The 2024 crops have already been chosen. Payments are based on the marking year average prices from September 1st of 2025 all the way until August of 2026. So payments, if they're triggered, are not going to be made until October of 2026. A quick reminder of how these programs work. PLC makes payments if the national marketing year average price falls below the effective reference price, or the PLC trigger. They're slightly different this year, but in general, if the national price gets low, that's when these payments are made. On the other hand, ARC pays if the actual county revenue falls below the county revenue guarantee. So what's actual county revenue? It's going to be that national PLC price, just like above, but times the FSA estimate of county average yield. And so what's that guarantee then? It's going to be 86% of the Olympic average of county revenue for the 5 years, 2019 through 2023. But there's going to be some floors in there. The prices used to calculate that Olympic average of revenue will always use the effective reference price for each year as a price floor, and the yields are going to be trend adjusted. It's the same way crop insurance is, and there's always a yield floor of the county T yield. If you want to see the prices historically and the yields and guarantees for your county, there's a web link there. It's on the same page as resources are for the ARC and PLC sign up for Wisconsin farmers. So in short, my recommendations are to sign up for ARC CO this year. That's for corn, soybean, wheat, and oat base acres. You go in and file your 2025 FSA enrollment form. Do it right now as soon as you can. Automatically, your 2024 elections will transfer over to 2025. And then if you want, you can update them then, or you can come in up until April 15th and update your elections. I will continue to monitor markets and policies as the sign-up period progresses and update my recommendations if needed, but I don't anticipate doing so. There are a couple big events. The USDA will present its USDA long-run baseline for estimated crop prices for the 2025 crop year. That'll come out in mid-February. And this year, you'll be able to see the prospective plantings report that comes out at the end of March before you finalize your elections. So farmers have some major events they might want to think about, but in general, ARC CO is going to be the best option. What we have here is the prices that are going to be used in the triggers and then the various guarantees. So we got the 4 crops: corn, soybeans, wheat, and oats. By row, the first column there is what they call the PLC trigger, or the 2025 effective reference price. You can see it's gone up a little bit. This year, corn, it's 426, 966 for soybeans, 556 for wheat, and 276 for oats. On the far right is that projection of what that farm price is going to be for 2025 crop. This is USDA estimates back in November. These are the ones that will be updated in mid-February. They can see right now, $3.90 for corn, much below that effective reference price, the PLC trigger, $10 for soybeans, $5.80, and $2.90 for wheat and oats. In the middle is something new we're talking about this year. It's called the ARC trigger. What it is, if your county has the county yield reaches the county benchmark, or its average, then this is the price that starts triggering ARC payments for that county. So you'll see it's 432 for corn. That means as the price declines, if you have a county yield that is average, you'll start triggering ARC payments as the price falls below 432. The further it falls below 432, the larger those payments will be. And you can see the ARC triggers there for soybeans, wheat, and oats as well. But these are all numbers. It's nice to visualize them. So I have some slides here in the next to help you understand these decisions. So this is corn. And so there's that projected price in blue down there at 390. The PLC trigger is at 426. This is all to scale. And then the top price there at 432 is that ARC trigger. You can really see the gap between them now. The projected price is well below both the PLC trigger and the ARC trigger. That means they're both likely to pay. If we get anything near these projected prices for that USDA marking your average price, they're going to pay. But on average, ARC is likely to pay a little bit more. In general, ARC payments are going to exceed PLC payments, except when your county has high yield and the price at the national level is low. And so because the likelihood is much smaller, I'm recommending you choose ARC. Both will likely pay, and PLC will likely pay. It's just in these certain situations, ARC on average is going to pay more often and at a higher level. PLC, in some cases, when you have those high county yields and low national prices, will technically pay more than ARC, but ARC will still pay in those situations as well. Hence, I'm recommending ARC. Soybeans, everything's a little different here. The projected price is in blue in the middle there at $10. The PLC trigger is down below at $9.66, and then the ARC trigger is way up at $10.46. So you can kind of see that the projected price is above the PLC trigger, so PLC payments are much less likely to happen, whereas the ARC trigger is very high, meaning ARC is likely to pay even with above average county yields for soybeans. So this one's fairly clear. The recommendation is ARC. You're most likely going to get much larger payments and more frequently with ARC with soybeans. Wheat now is even slightly different as well. The projected price in blue is at the highest at $5.80. Right below it is the ARC trigger at $5.78, and then down there at $5.56 is the PLC trigger. So projected price is high above both these triggers. It's just above the ARC trigger. So ARC is likely to pay if we have modest yield losses or much worse in your county, whereas PLC is much less likely to pay. The expectation is not for national prices to fall below down to that $5.56 level. So again, this is ARC is likely to is the best option here if you want to maximize payments, but it's not likely to pay much if we get anything near these projected prices, but there's a chance for some small ARC payments. The last one is Oats, and this one here, you got the projected price in the middle at $2.90, the trigger for PLC down at $2.76, and the ARC trigger way up at $3.24. Again, this is a very clear one. ARC is going to start triggering payments even with above average yields in some counties. And so PLC is much less likely to pay. It's going to take a lot for that price to fall down to $2.76. So the recommendation is to choose ARC. So here's a summary here. Sign up is by April 15th this year. So you have an extra 30 days. My recommendation is go out and enroll, get your 2025 elections will transfer from your 2024, and then update these elections if you need to. I will update my recommendations if needed as the sign-up period progresses, but I don't anticipate doing so. For corn, it's choose ARC. It's just like for soybeans and oats and wheat, all of them are choosing ARC. The only one that's kind of tricky is corn, and that one, ARC in most situations will pay more. Sometimes PLC will pay more, but even in those situations, ARC will pay as well, just not as much as PLC. On average, ARC is the better choice. And so that's my recommendation there. For soybeans and oats, it's pretty clear that ARC is the better choice. Wheat, ARC is technically the better choice, but it's not likely to pay very much. There's not any, right now, if market conditions are as they are, we're not likely to see much in terms of a wheat payment from ARC. The only caveat to all these recommendations is if you're going to buy SCO crop insurance, which you will do by your March 15th deadline, you must choose PLC for that crop by the April 15th deadline, or otherwise you're going to avoid your SCO coverage.